And especially, pardon? Pardon? Somebody, what? I could not follow. Kabiru, what happened?
Can you hear me? Can
Pardon?
you hear me? Can you hear
Now,
me?
can you hear me? Huh?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Acha. So now it has been a part of the life of Indian people, especially our religious literature. They recognize dances as an important activity in human life in search of God. So, one thing you mark that dance as a medium to pray before God, dance as a medium to search for God. The early relics of earliest civilizations in India clearly demonstrates the importance of dance in a vivid manner. In the later period also, dance remained in the forefront as a prominent fine art tradition. Besides dance, we will also see that, like dance, music is also an inseparable element of Indian culture. Both dance and music, they are correlated almost like the two sides of one coin. Music will be followed by dances. Dance without music, it is not attractive, and music alone, also it is not attractive. So both dance and music, they are very much related. And now, if we look at the last one, the painting, India has a very rich tradition of a painting, and in the earlier paintings, we find out that they were mostly related to the religious myths of the society. But in later works, we find out that the paintings, the subject matter of painting, they had their diverse manifestation. We find out the beauty of nature in the painting. We find out the beauty of the girl, the beauty of essence of the human living, a number the human feelings and emotions, they are being presented in the painting tradition in a very catchy manner, and at present the paintings are so symbolic. In the present day setup, if you look at the Indian painting tradition, they are very, very symbolic. And from the symbol of symbolic representation of a painting, you can form a very good idea. So now these are the three steps that we have to cover in course of our discussion on fine arts, which is a significant aspect of Indian tradition. So the very first line that I will start, that dance is as old as an art in the human civilization. Right from the beginning of human civilization, it has been a part of Indian life. It may be in the Harappan civilization, the first historic civilization of India, as you know, that the dancing tradition was there. Otherwise, the G Summit meeting, which held last month in Delhi, on the gate of that pandal, there was the picture of a dancing girl, and that dancing girl statue, it was discovered long back, prepared 5,000 years back, and the replica of this statue had been presented there, the dancing girl. The antiquity of this dancing girl is almost 5,000 years back. So dance is always a part of life. And the early men, during the time of their leisure, when they did not have any activities to do, they recourse to the dances very often, the references to which are found out in various literature. The very first thing is the religious literature. If you will go through the ancient religious literature of India, you will find out what you will find out, that you will find out the reference to what? The dancing tradition. So we find out that in its simplest form, dance is a physical expression, but in the if we go deeper, it deals with the emotional content of the music. The pleasure of music is in the listening, of the pleasure of dancing is watching. If you will listen to the you will get pleasure, you will enjoy music by listening, and you will enjoy dance by watching it. So it is a miracle. Dance is a miracle of the body movement in stillness, of music, of silence, and the dancer will take you by her dancing performance to she or he will be able to win your confidence. Now, let me tell you about the dancing practice. As far as in 2nd century BC, in 2nd century before Christ era, we find out reference of a book written by one person, a sage. His name was what? Bharat. So Bharat was the sage, and he now wrote what is called Natya Shastra. So the Natya Shastra, the name of the book of Bharat, it now gives us sufficient idea about the Indian dances. Acha, let me stop here. Kabiru, any other student have joined? Yeah? Any other
No, ma'am.
students are present? Only.
Can you hear me?
How many students are there?
I don't know.
You are the only.
I'm the
You
only
are
one,
the
ma'am. I'm
only
the only one.
one.
Yes, ma'am.
So shall I ask the organizers what has happened, or shall I continue? Because I find
No.
out
So,
your
some of them are.
pardon.
Yes, pardon, ma'am. You said what?
Nobody is there. Only one. Kabiru has joined. Mr. Kabiru, you have only joined.
Yes, I only one here.
So, what is to be done? At least in the first class, there were 7 students. I do not know what was the strength in yesterday's class. What is to be done in today's class? Only one student. This shows the interest of the student towards the lecture. Is not it?
That's how some of our students used to be. Sometimes they used to be absent.
Pardon?
So I said sometimes they used to be absent. Not all of us used to join the classes.
Acha. So let me continue. So your
Okay, ma'am.
suggestion
Thank you.
is, yeah, let me continue. So the Natya Shastra by Bharat, it gives us a reference to Indian dancing tradition. So if you will follow the old religious literature, old religious literature means the literature which were compiled in very ancient time of Indian history. You will find out specific books on dancing tradition, on your music tradition. So, different books you will find out related to dancing. And in this Natya Shastra of Bharata, he has analyzed the movement of limbs. What is dance? Dance is a physical action. It is related with the movement of the major limbs. Along with the movement of the major limbs, you will find out also the movement of the minor limbs. Limbs means the parts of the body. The major limbs, it include the head, the breast, the chest, the waist, the hip, the feet. These are the major limbs. The minor limbs are eyes, eyebrow, nose, lips, chin, mouth, etc. They constitute the minor limbs. When a person is in the dancing position, not only it involves the physical exercise, but also we find out the movement of the different parts of the body and the expression through the minor limbs, through your eyes, through your eyebrows, through your chin, and specifically through your mouth. The expression of the eyes are very expressive. It is through eyes you can express your emotion, your love emotion, then your emotion of anger, your emotion of what affection. So different types of emotions which are there related to the dance. So when you will see an Indian dance, mind it, dance has got an subject matter. At present, modern dances, they are only related to the music. With the musical tune, you will dance. But no, so far as ancient dance tradition is concerned, generally they are related to any topic related to the religious literature. So either the some events related to the life of one God, any type of occurrence in the life of mainly the divine. The events are related to the life of divinity. Suppose in Hindu religion, yesterday's class I told you Krishna. Krishna is a man god. So the uh, dance related to Krishna, the childhood age of Krishna, her mother was Jashoda. So the dance, if it is related to the childhood days of Krishna, so you will find out the expression. The mother will be a girl and Krishna a small boy, and the dance, it is through the dances. Now the mother will express her feeling for the young son, little son. The little son will show her attachment for the mother also. If it is a love scene between the divinity, also it is through dancing expression. Mind it, behind the scene there will be the music. So the musical performance behind the scene is also there. So we find out that what is there? That music are there, songs are there, and the dancer is dancing on the stage. And if it is a prayer to the Lord, naturally, the prayer will be sung by the singer, the music will be accompanied with it, and the dancer on the stage in a divine mood, in a divine expression, these expression will now present the dance. And another important thing, as I told you, that various archaeological remains. Yesterday you asked me what are the places to be visited. If you will visit the historical sites where different archaeological remains have been excavated, what you will find out? That you will find out the various archaeological evidences related to the dancing tradition of India. So, to related to the dancing tradition of India, we find out various archaeological evidences, and especially in this G Summit 20 meeting, there were two images which were being related with history. One was the dancing bronze statue from Mohenjo Harappa. Another was the Nataraj. Nataraj is dancing Shiva. Shiva is a god, male god, and he is associated with dancing. He is associated, so Shiva in dancing form, that is called Nataraj Shiva. That image was also there in front of the gate of the G20 summit meeting. So the point is this, that dancing tradition in ancient time, it was there. And even in prehistoric days, means in Stone Age days, in Old Stone Age and in New Stone Age, we find out that what happened. Now, there was also the in the cave painting they used to. I shall discuss while discuss you the painting tradition. Also, we find out some dancing picture. So the dancing tradition is very old. And another important thing, when in a sculptor is preparing a statue, naturally he must take into account the literary expression. What? So how literature is associated with dance? There are some descriptions. The human body description. The lips of a girl, the lips of a girl, it should be red. There is a fruit which is red in color. So the poet in his description is describing the redness of a girl's lip with that fruit that is called bimba fruit. The beauty of the eyes, the beauty of the eyes, it is parbal, you know that vegetable parbal? You just divide it, this long shape. If your eyes, they will be in this shape. From this to this, the girl will be very attractive. And the hair, if the hair will be thick, black, and long, it is sometimes it is compared, metaphoric description compared with clouds. So, taking these type of descriptions from the literature, what we find out that when the artist it reads this description in the literature and when he carves out the prepares the images, naturally he tries to give the beauty, long-eyed beauty, very beautiful sharp nose like a parrot, very thick, long hair, and long hands. So, as per poetic description, if the artist does the statue, it becomes more and more attractive. So we find out the pictures of besides gods and goddesses, there are also demi-gods and demi-goddesses, half goddesses, Jakshas and Jakshinis. So you will find out that in various places there are in Bharut, these are the places, Mathura, Sanchi, you will find out the archaeological remains of Jakshas and Jakshinis mainly on the gateway of the monument. And another important thing is this, the Buddhist stupas. You know where there is Buddhist structure, there also you will find out various types of position related to the dancing tradition. So the whole thing is this, that the dancing tradition of Jakshas, Jakshinis, they are there either on the wall or on the gateway, and they are all in dancing position. So the another thing is there in the great Indian epics. You know the name of the Indian epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata. You will also find out references to Indian dancing tradition. In Indian temples, of course, now that system is no longer exist, but in ancient time, there was the system that the dancing girl in front of the god, say a girl who will used to dance before the god. So the divine dance that the girl will present, it was called as the Dev Dasi system. Dev means God. So as the servant of the god or as the attendant of the god, that lady will present her dancing capacity before the god. Different states in India, they have got their different dancing tradition. So the different states, India has got 29 states, and different states, like their handicraft, dancing tradition is also different. Bharatanatyam, Kathakali, Kathak, Manipuri, Odissi, Mohiniyattam, Kuchipudi. These are some of the very important and familiar names. So these are the familiar names, and Bharatanatyam. The Bharatanatyam is perhaps the oldest classical form of dance. Classical form of dance means a dance which has got remote antiquity. You will find out that from tourist point of view, when a tourist wants to see the Bharatanatyam dances, we find out that in different villages in South India, in Melore, in Sommangalam, etc., you will find out the dancing tradition is there, Bharatanatyam dancing tradition. And in Bharatanatyam dancing tradition, you will find out if you want to spell Rukmini Devi, so she was very famous. And here we find out she brought this system to limelight, and it is a important dancing tradition of Orissa, which makes the tourists attractive to see the dance, to go through the subject matter, and to analyze and to interpret the Indian cultural dancing tradition to its fullest extreme. So the oldest dancing tradition, and whenever any tourists come, there are also arrangements in respective areas to show them dances. The second is Kathak. Kathak is the popular dance form in North India. So in North India, you will find out the Kathak dance. We find out that Tappa, the musical form, which is accompanied with Kathak dance, is Tappa and Thungri. And these are the musical instruments, tabla and pakhwaz. Always the dance tradition is associated with the music tradition. So the dance here we find out it is the customs are also different. Dances have their different costumes. So for Bharatanatyam dances, you have a separate costume. For Kathak, also we have separate costumes. And Kathakali, another dance form, it is the extreme most South India in Kerala and Malabar region. You will find out what? The Kathakali dance. So Bharatanatyam, Kathak, Kathakali. So here we find out that because it is in extreme South India, Kerala is the last state in South India, and the dance form in Kathakali, they are very, very complex. Besides this Bharatanatyam, Kathakali, Kathak, we have Manipuri dances. The name Manipuri dances that it is in northeastern India. In eastern India, in Odisha, the state to which I belong, there the dance form is Odissi. So it is generally presented in front of Lord Jagannath, and also when there is a stage performance of Odissi. We find out also the dances are mainly in form of prayer or related to the happenings in the life of Lord Jagannath. So, my dear students, when you are looking to the dancing tradition of India, dance tradition outwardly it is followed by musical instruments, musical rhythms, but inner feeling is that there is the expression of your emotion. So that emotion may be love, maybe affection, maybe your closeness, maybe of anger, maybe of attachment. So, different types of expression, maybe of detachment also, not only attachment but also detachment. So, the expression. So, Indian dancing tradition, definitely from tourist point of view, it is an attractive aspect. And in this aspect, in this dancing aspect, the tourist definitely they will like to see that what actually the dancer wants to speak through her dancing performances. Now the male members are also, they have proved themselves very, very efficient, more efficient than the ladies also. And the various dancing troops who visit the different countries outside India, they have also showed different groups. They have their specialization in different forms. One is Kathakali group, another is Kathak group, Bharatanatyam group. So these are the classical dance tradition. So when you are going to have an idea of Indian culture, naturally you must know or you have some ideas related to Indian dances, the Indian dancing tradition, and how antiquity, the remote antiquity, the Indian dancing tradition they possesses within them. That is one of our cultural identity. This dancing tradition is a part of our cultural identity. Now we find out from, as I told you, that dance is always followed by the music. Dance is a part of musical performance. So now we will see that how there is music. Music in India, I am coming to the second part. The music in India is as old and has a long tradition like that of your dances. It has enjoyed the patronage of the people right from the very beginning. The place of, in fact, the birth of music lay in the ancient past, the religious activities of the people. How music came? It is told that music came into existence with the religious activities of the people, the chanting of the scriptures, the paying musical offerings to the gods and goddesses. They are all well documented. You will find out the archaeological findings. You can see in your book also how a lady, a sculptural work, a lady, she is a drummer. She is holding a drum and she is beating it. So the culture of drum, she is a drummer. The beating tradition of drum, it was there. So we find out, and like the emotion expressed with dances, the musics are associated with ragas. You can't understand because it is exclusive with the Indian music tradition. So, what is that? The raga, the musical notations. Generally, the musics are of two types, the Marga music and that of the Desi music. The Marga music is the religious music, and the Desi music is your popular music. So we find out that this Marga music and Desi music, the modern music, so far if you will take into account modern music, they are not called the classical music, any music which has got a very lasting impact on your arm. So we find out any music which has got a lasting impact on audience mouth, which has got substantial meaning and interpretation. Naturally, those things are to be associated with the musical tradition. The Marga music or the religious musics are in the form of bhajans. Special types of songs are there not prayer actually. Prayer you will do in the temples, in religious places, but in the performance, in the performance, stage performance, when you will perform the devotional music, it is called as the, what it is called? It is called the bhajans. Then we have also the popular music. Besides that, we have ghazals, khayals, thungris. These are all the popular music. So the popular musics are of different types, and the ghazal, thungri, etc., they are also associated with it. I will give you a very good example. In previous classes, I had referred to one dynasty in Orissa, in India, that is the Gupta dynasty. And one of the rulers of this Gupta dynasty was Samudragupta. One coin of Samudragupta, excuse me, one coin of Samudragupta has been excavated and come to limelight, and there the ruler is playing with a lute. The ruler was so much interested in music that we find out the picture of the ruler, he is playing with a lute, a musical instrument, what is called in Indian language Bina. So, Bina is an instrument which is very much associated with Indian music. My point is this, you will find out several references to the Indian rulers of ancient time who have in the personal inclination towards your music. So, music was a very important tradition, not only in our day-to-day life also, as I told you, the desi music, the common man in their day-to-day life also, they used to sing the devotional songs. The lover and the beloved, they used to have the romantic musics, any type of music. If you want to have a music on detachment, you will also sing accordingly. So we find out that Indian music, it is has got the two types of traditions. The two main divisions are the North Indian division on the Karnataki division, Karnataki style. The main distinguishing feature of the two style is the preponderance of the local colors. In North Indian style, you will find out some of the regional traits of North India, it is mixed in the music. In the Karnataka style, Karnataka is in South India. So you will find out some of the assimilation of your South Indian traits. Karnataki style, what find out different types of ragas. Raga, as I told you, the musical notation. So each music is, they have their musical notation, what is called your raga. And another important thing, kirtan. Kirtan is in Karnataka style. When kirtan means mass song, you must have seen Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, the movement. And in the devotees of ISKCON movement, when in a group, they go on singing the song that is called Kirtan in honor of the God, that is called Kirtan. That is also a very important aspect of Indian music. So kirtan is a devotional aspect, and that is also associated with Indian music. So Indian music, as I told you, what it has got three important aspects: Shwara, Tala, Laya, Ragam. Shwara means the sound of the music. Tala means the beating of the drum. As for the music, the beating of the drum. And the third one is the musical notation, what is called raga. So a composition becomes more qualified if it is followed by three cornerstones. If it is having three connotations: swara or sound, tala or laya or beat or tune. The third one is raga or your notation. So I don't know in your musical system, because you are all accustomed to your musical system. You have very less idea, virtually no idea about the classical music tradition of India, because you are reading Indian culture, those things which constitute an inherent part of Indian culture. You are going to have an idea on that. So I am sure you do not have much of idea on Indian music. You must have listened to Indian songs, Indian music in various dramas, which we shall discuss in the coming class. But that is in popular Indian cinema music, theater music. But these type of classical music, they are having their own connotations. So they are having their own system. And we find out that the Indian music, as I told you, that in ancient time, in various archaeological remains from various coins, we find out the picture of musical instruments. In the medieval time, when India was mainly under the Muslim domination, the Muslims also, they had their typical music system, this kawali. Qawwali, it is a typical Islamic musical tradition. We find out a reference in the writings of Amir Khusru, a very prolific Muslim writer, to reference to different types of music related to the royal court in the medieval period. And in the regional style, India, you know, is a land of diversity. Because it is a land of diversity, we find out different in different regions, they have their different types of musics. For Kathakali dance, there is a separate music. For Odissi dance, Odissi music is there. Not so for different dances, specific music is there. And there is like Natya Shastra of Bharata gives us idea on Indian dances. So we have also the books, different books, Lochan Kabi's book, Raga Tarangini, Joydev's Gita Govinda. Joydev is the writer. Name of the book is Gita Govinda. So we find out different types of books related to the different types of music. Coming to the present musical setup. If you look at the present musical setup, the present musical setup, 19th and 20th century, we find out again a resurgence of Indian music, especially of the classical music, it has taken up. Because classical music, they are having their long lasting impact. So the different groups have emerged. The musical devotees are trying to sustain the tradition of music training through different groups, what is called as gharana. The gharana of Indian, suppose Kirana, Jaipur gharana, Pandit Mallikarjun Mansur, the Patiala Gharana, Ustad Bade Ghulam Ali Khan, we find out that these type of different types, Agra Gharana, Ustad Sarafat Hussain. So you see, and maximum of them are Muslims. They are very efficient. They are so much proficient in music. They have established separate groups, and through those groups, that may be vocal music or instrumental music. Some of them are sarod player, some of them are sitar player, and not only through instruments, some through music, some through the playing of the instrument, they have tried to prove their excellence. The modern music, what you, the young boys and girls, you listen, those are not the part of Indian culture. Those are of temporary in nature. You will listen, you will enjoy, you will dance, and then you will forget. But the thing which influences your mind, which have got everlasting impact on your mind, maybe the dance, maybe the music, they are called as the classical tradition. So we find out that the Indian classical music today, they are flourishing under the patronage of different traditional groups, what is called Gharana. The essential elements of Indian music are the swara. Swara means the sound, the beat, and the notation. The Indian classical music now recognizes swara or the sound, which is permanent, and others are related to it. The two main styles of Indian classical music which still exist today is the North Indian music and the Karnataki style. And so far as the antiquity of Indian music is concerned, the Indian musical tradition, it goes as far as second millennium BC, second millennium before Christ days. Am I clear? So you see that the music tradition of India and dancing tradition of India, which are the two important aspects of our fine arts. They are with India. In the Indian tradition, they are the parts of Indian tradition since they are beginning in the 5,000 years back from Harappan civilization. So, the uniqueness of Indian culture, as I had told you earlier, the continuity. The continuity of the same tradition till today. So, from very, very ancient time till the ultra modern phase, we find out the continuity of the tradition. And the archaeological remains, you may ask me, what, madam, they are associated with tourism? Yes, very much associated with tourism. The tourists who want to have an idea, so for them, you will find out the organization of different types of fairs and festivals related to Indian music and dances. The Kathakali Dance Festival, the Karnataki Music Festival. Those tourists who really have an attraction towards the Karnataki music, naturally they will attend it. They will listen it. They have become familiar with the tradition for their attentiveness towards that music, for their attachment, likeness for the music. So we find out, what we find out, that these type of music tradition, they are making Indian culture more and more expressive outside the outside India. So these are two important aspects of our tradition, dance and culture, dance and music. You also, those who are listening me, you have your own dancing tradition, you have your own music tradition because it differs from culture to culture. So, when you are going to read about the dance and the music tradition, the history of the country must be taken into consideration. As I told you, maximum of them, they are associated with the religious scriptures. They are associated with the religious books. So, because they are associated with the religious books, naturally, we find out that this tradition, they have their impact on the Indian culture. So among the three important aspects of fine arts, we now just with a very short way, we discussed about the Indian dancing tradition and the Indian music tradition. But now coming to the last part, that is more important, and it is also very, very vast one. What is that? the painting tradition. So the painting tradition of India, and it is a very important aspect, very, very important aspect of Indian culture. Before the beginning of Harappan civilization, there was the prehistoric age in India, the Stone Age culture in India, and in Stone Age time also, the prehistoric ancestors, they were having that painting tradition. And they had their paintings in the caves, what is called as the rock art or the cave art. They were not in ultramodern form, but the primitive man with their limited intelligence and limited surrounding, when they found out any time, they used to live in the caves. So the wall of the caves, the wall of the rocks, they have painted it, which are preserved till today. In India, if you will visit a state called Madhya Pradesh in central India, you will find out the places called Bhimbetka, Adamgarh, where you will find out the references to this prehistoric painting. So, before also the beginning of civilization, the earliest ancestors, they were in the habit of drawing pictures, and the place were not any pictorial board or like that. They are the walls of the caves and the rocks. So, painting India has got, my point is to give you the idea that India has a very rich tradition of painting. And coming to the Harappan Indian civilization, in the earlier period, paintings were mostly concerned with religious myth, though the society was amply painted through these religious myth. So the earlier paintings, they are mainly religious by nature. The later paintings, we find out, they are mostly concerned with court life, means the royal court. So in both the cases, in the cases of the courts or religious institutions, the artists, they were patronized by the ruling community. So when we are going to discuss about the Indian painting, as I told you, that this is an art. The art of painting is the expression of ideas and emotions with the creation of certain aesthetic qualities which in a visual language. So your inner feeling, your inner emotion, you are trying to paint it. In which way? You are trying to paint it through your visual language. And the element of this language is your color, line, shape, and texture. So it is through color you are talking something. It is through line you are talking something. So now we find out that when we are going to discuss about the Indian painting tradition, the Indian painting tradition, you have your book, The Theory of Russia. The theory of rasa. Rasa, what is rasa? R-A-S-A? Aesthetic flavor. The aesthetic flavor is called rasa, and in the much Indian art in religious form, you will find out they are associated with Krishna, about whom I have told earlier. They were associated with Shiva, the major Hindu deity who was in dancing form, and that dance is called the Tandava dance. You see, in Hindu religion, three gods, male gods, are represented through three ways. One is God of creation, another is God of preservation, the third one is the God of destruction. So the creator, preserver, the destroyer, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar, Brahma, Krishna, and Shiva. So Shiva being the destroyer, so his dancing tradition is very violent. So in a very violent way, how he presents himself. So we find out that now in Indian dancing tradition, we will find out different types of rasas, different types of aesthetic flavors. Now, we shall see the distribution. The earliest prehistoric paintings of India in the primitive caves and the rock shelters. The paintings are in crude technique representing vivid picture. The what are the pictures? In a well preserved scene, there is a hunting scene of a bison and another animal. The human figures are conventional human figures, and you will find out that they are handling of, because they were hunters. They were hunters, so in their hunting scene you will find out they were, the women are carrying, when agriculture came, the women are carrying the agricultural products. All these paintings are not ornated, very small in number of tourists are attracted towards them. So those who are making researches, they are interested for this type of painting. But the painting which attracts the tourists are not prehistoric paintings, but the classical paintings. And here we find out that Indian historical painting belongs to 2nd century AD in South India, and that is the Satavahana period. What you find out? That here we find out the picture, mainly I must tell you about the Gupta age. In Gupta age, the famous spots of Ajanta and Ellora, they are in the province of Maharashtra. In the state of Maharashtra, you will find out the rock cut painting, Ajanta and Ellora. Today, after the class, you just open your net and now you switch on Ajanta and Ellora. You will find out how the roof of the cave, they are being painted with different scenes. So the different scenes related to a girl or to any religious scene, and the walls of the cave, they are being the sculptural works. So the Ajanta painting and Ellora painting, these are all related to the scenes of Buddhism. The paintings are there, the sculptures are related to Buddhism, the image of Lord Buddha, some of the scenes from Buddhist book, but the roof of the cave, you will find out the presentation of various types of paintings. The Bagh Cave, BAGH, the Bagh Cave in Gwalior, on the Vindhya mountain range, you will find out there are 9 caves. And in all those caves, you will find out the pictures. You see, the paintings in ancient India, they were not drawn on canvas or paper. It was mainly on the inside the caves. And inside the cave, the roof of the cave, they were painted with different types of scenes. So you see that the early Indians, they were so much, they had attraction, so much of attraction towards painting, that they used to paint the wall of the cave, which after, that means in 4th century CE, Christian era, almost you see 15 or 1600 years back, they had painted on the roof of the caves, and they are still there. And these are the places of tourist importance. So the tourists are very much attracted to see this Ajanta, Ellora, Bagh caves, which are in Mahabalipuram. So these are in various parts of India, Badami, Hampi, Mahabalipuram in South India, the Bagh cave in central India, Ajanta and Ellora in western India. So my point is this is the idea on ancient painting. First was your prehistoric painting, what is called rock art. Then in the historical age, this Gupta art, Ajanta, Ellora, Bagh cave, they are really very, very beautiful. You asked me yesterday, which place do you want to visit? These are the places. These are the places, and they are the places of tourist importance. Tourists very much like to flock to these places to have an idea about the early Indian painting and the early Indian sculpture. Then, in the medieval period, when the Muslims came, especially the Mughals, they had a very rich tradition of painting. Not only painting, they were fond of garden culture. They were fond of garden culture, nature's beauty. So they were having the artistic bent of mind, artistic temperament. Because they had artistic bent of mind, naturally they had their affination, likeness for the painting also. And the painting in medieval painting is different from the traditional Indian style, but it has the Persian flavor because the Muslims came from Central Asia. Persia means modern Iran. Its ancient name was Persia, and it was having a very rich tradition of culture. So it was the paintings in medieval India was having Persian flavor, but the inborn charm of Indian tradition. The charm of Indian traditional beauty is there, but there is a flavor of Persia. So anyhow, the study of the Mughal painting, especially the Mughal painting, they are having a very rich tradition. And if you want to see the rich tradition of Indian painting in different museums of India, you will find out Mughal painting. And the study of Mughal painting may be in India, started with Khwaja Abdus Samaj of Sirab, who was patronized by Humayun and then by Akbar. So they were the prominent Mughal rulers. So not only they were ruling, they were men of artistic temperament. They began to patronize them. So getting patronage from the ruler, the artist began to paint. And the famous books in Persian language, Babar Nama, Akbar Nama, Hamza Nama, Rajam Nama, and other books, they are all illustrated manuscripts. So these manuscripts are illustrated, have a good artistic achievement. So all in these manuscripts, what you will find out? The artistic expression. And the Mughal art, it was having what were the scenes? The magnificence of the Mughal royal court, the delightful, the wild animals, the depicting elephants, camels, the scene of hunting, the dress and the decoration of the courtiers. These are some of the themes of the painting which you can see. Besides this Mughal painting in medieval India, the Rajasthani school of art, it is a very important regional. The various other regions in India during this medieval period, they also developed their own painting tradition. So different regions of the world, specific regions of the country of India, they have their painting tradition, and it is called the Rajasthani School of Art was the natural outcome of the long sequence of painting tradition. So what we find out? There you will find out in Jaipur, Udaipur of the state of Rajasthan. So in Jaipur, Udaipur state of Rajasthan, you will find out mainly the paintings What is we find out they are Rasa Lila, love between Radha and Krishna, religious paintings, the paintings on the different phases of nature, and we painting they are warlike scenes. So different on different themes, you will find out the representation of painting. So you see that the Indian painting tradition, like its dance and music tradition, is having a very rich heritage of antiquity, a very rich heritage of remoteness behind it. The Europeans came to India. When India now, you see, 18th century, by 18th century, India became a melting pot politically when diverse forces from different parts of Europe, they now came intriguing. They fought against each other to establish supremacy over the soil. And Indian painting, naturally, it was in this unfavorable situation, Indian painting followed a path of decline. And again, we find out that Indian painting, when it followed a path of decline, and again, during the time of British rule, towards the when the British rule was firmly established, the British during their rule, they now founded art schools in the capital of the provinces. So in various provinces of the India, then in the capitals, art school concept. So the painting tradition, which was in a very, what to say, in a closed form, no expression, that printing tradition again now got the new lease of life. And the best Indian, those who tried their best to save Indian art from decay and oblivion are known as Cunningham, Ferguson, Havel, Percy Brown, because they realized that this long tradition, painting tradition is of India is going to be lost due to lack of royal patronage, lack of interest among the people. So something should be done to revive. Something should be done to revive the tradition, and accordingly, the art school they were established. And now we find out that in 19th century, towards 19th century, when modernization became a part of Indian culture, India became modernized. The modern age entered into India by 19th century, what is called as the Indian Renaissance. So towards the end of 19th century, a positive reaction against the painting, it now arose, and famous Raja Ravi Verma of Kerala, he now started what is called mythological painting, giving a shape to the mythological character in his painting. You see, in Hindu mythology, in Hindu religion, you will find out the mention of the names of different gods and goddesses. But we have not seen them. But basing on the description, basing on their activities, the credit goes to Raja Ravi Verma of Kerala. So what he did, now he now looked back to our heritage and began to paint the picture of the gods and goddesses as per the description in the scripture. So, what the faces we are getting, the faces of the gods and goddesses, so it is the origin, and this origin is based on the description from the pages of our religious book. Avanindranath Thakur, the brother of great Nobel laureate R.N. Thakur, Rabindranath Tagore. He was Avanindranath, and he was also a very good painter in pre-independent India. He and his worthy disciples experimented with the techniques of Indian miniature painting, fresco painting, patta painting, scroll painting. These are different types of paintings with their own technical individuality. So, because we are not acquainted with the technical features of all these schools, only to remember them. Then what happened? That especially in Bengal, I told you that Bengal is the state on the eastern part of India. A Bengal school of painting, it specially developed, and Rabindranath Tagore, who now got the first Asian to get Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913. So he now, as he himself became a painter also. So he was a brother of, his elder brother was Avanindranath, and Rabindranath also developed this painting tradition in his own university, which has received few days back the heritage status site, the Central University of Viswabharati. Anyhow, then we find out the other important painters who now provided new lease of life to Indian painting tradition was Gaganendranath, and another was Amrita Sergil, then your Jamini Rai. We find out in the modern Indian paintings the folklore, the folk tradition, gradually they now begin to get their place. So the folklore, the culture of the people, the popular uh, myths, the folklore, the folk tradition, they now got their place in the Indian painting tradition. And in the post-independence era, as you know, the painting tradition, it is now developed to, or it has reached a very high point. Different types of paintings, water painting, oil painting, only that's a drawing by pencil. Only simple drawing by pencil also is making the picture so attractive. So we find out that different types of paintings have enhanced the boundary or the domain of the painting world to such a great extent. So what thing is this? That Ajanta, Ellora, Bagh cave, they were the matters of tourist attraction, a very important place of resources and attraction for the tourists. And we must remember they are almost being 1,500, 600 years old. So we painting, they are not movable objects. They are not movable objects. The most important thing, along with tourist attraction, steps should be taken to conserve these artistic painting treasures. So sufficient steps should be taken to conserve this painting treasure of India. And if this painting treasure of India, they will be preserved naturally, what will happen? We will find out that our cultural tradition, because painting is an inseparable part of Indian culture, like your, so definitely now there are various festivals in front of your Ajanta cave. There is dance and music festival. So naturally, the tourists, they are now being organized because it is a fast growing industry. Tourism is a fast growing industry. Because it is a fast growing industry, so it should be more made more attractive. The tourists, they now want to explore the world, not only in their own country, outside their own country also. So where there will be more and more attractive places, naturally they will like to visit those areas. So in this connection, India should be one place, a favorable destination for the tourists. Why? Now we have with us 500 years of history, 500, 5,000, not 500, 5,000 years of history, 5,000 years of rich tradition on fine arts, popular culture, on handicrafts, on archaeology, what not? So, as you know, it is a country, very, very old country, and with a history of a very, very distant past, right from the time of Stone Age culture. So, from Stone Age painting till today, painting has come a long way in the Indian cultural tradition. So, my point is this, that when we are making an assessment of fine arts of India, so the dance tradition, the music tradition, and that of your painting tradition, we must take into account the history also. Painting tradition is very much associated with history, the ancient paintings, the medieval paintings, etc. So we find out that what happened, that in this way the painting tradition, it is now being has attracted the tourists. Now, before going to start with popular culture, now I am not giving you the details of your dance and music, because you are not at all acquainted with the term and terminology. So, in a very general way, I have tried to make you acquainted with the tradition of India. So, if you will go through your study material, I think it will become easier on your part to get more and more acquaintance with the dancing system, music system, and that of the painting system. Now I want some interaction with you. You may ask some questions in this regard, and then we'll start with the other block. Tell me, any interaction, any curiosity you want to ask me?
Yes, ma'am. It's really interesting. I mean, your presentation was superb. So, from your own explanations, I observed that dances are not only, I mean, serve as artistic expressions, but also carry cultural, religious, and social significance in
Yeah,
their
yeah, yeah,
respective
yeah.
religions. So they provide a glimpse into a diverse traditions and stories of India. So music does, because music serves as
Yeah,
also a regional and traditional diversity as
associated
well.
with religious
So
performances. Yeah.
yes, of course, yeah. So I'd like to just ask a question regarding these traditions. So, because you made mention of that during Holi, I mean Holi, that's a festival of colors.
Yeah, a festival of
So
colors.
during
Yeah,
yes, yes, ma'am. So during Holi, the festival of colors, I mean traditional folks, songs, and music are an integral part of the
yeah,
celebration. Okay. So
yeah.
can you
It is
please
there.
explain this? Okay, can you please explain the significance of these songs and their role in Holi festival?
So you see, yes, you are very much correct. Holi is the festival of colors, and the songs, they are mainly related to Radha and Krishna. I have frequently referred to this word or god Krishna, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So Krishna is a god in Hindu pantheon, and his concert Radha, Krishna Radha, because you have to be thorough in Indian mythology, and the friends of Radha, they are called gopis. So you find out that is called, the typical term is Krishna Leela. So you will find out different types of songs related to the Krishna's holy performance, or Krishna playing holy with Radha and her associates. You will find out a number of scenes, number of songs, also musics are there, and they are all being sung during the time of Holi. So Holi being the festival of color, the people rejoice, and they also utter these type of songs. There is music, there are also dances as per the tune of music. So these are performing arts. Another important thing, if not, suppose Holi is not now, but we can also perform on the stage also. On the stage, the same thing can also be performed besides the festival or ceremonies. Suppose we don't have Holi is in the month of March. Now in the month of October also, we can perform this Krishna Lila on a stage. If the people should like, they can also perform it. But the music, the dance, which is associated with this particular type of dances, they are to be presented. So in maximum types, you will find out this, as I told you, the classical dances of India, your Kathakali, Kathak, Manipuri, Odissi, Mohiniyattam, etc., they are having a religious background them. So if with that religious background behind them, naturally the music is composed, the singer he sings, the instruments they are being played accordingly, and it will have an impact on the audience. It will have an impact on the audience, and for the tourist audience there will be also the translation of the song. You will not be in a position to follow the regional language. In that case also arrangements are being made for the translation, so that you can get some important points related to that song. A very good question. So dance
Okay, ma'am.
tradition, music.
Thank you for your feedback,
So
ma'am. It's really enjoyable.
in your
So I
country,
have, yes, ma'am.
now, in your country, dance traditions, your dance traditions, how are they? Man, I want to know.
Wow. Yes, ma'am. There are numerous of dances I can say because we have
Hmm.
a lot of ethnic groups here over in Nigeria. I mean, especially in the young part. So I know that even though these kind of traditional, I mean, festivities are not, I mean, looked after. They are not well practiced or something like that. So sometimes you can see that dances from different, I mean, sects or something like tribes, I can say. So you can see some, I mean, different attire where are wear, different, I mean, clothes or something like
Achha.
that. And also is they used to hold some sticks sometimes, sticks sometimes, and also make
For
some,
different
I mean,
dances, different costumes and attire.
yes, of course, man. And also, they used to, because there is one, I mean, Indian dance that they use hand gestures. So same here, some tribes use their legs gestures to indicate some, I mean, uh, I can say just to convey some messages in their own dances.
Achha, when we will read block 8, that is on tribal culture, we will make references to that tribal dances also. Yes. But what I
Okay,
told
ma'am.
you today, that is,
I have a question,
tell,
please.
carry
One
on.
more question. I have one more
Yeah.
question.
No, why one more? You
Okay,
can
you
ask
made
many
mention of
questions. I have no
Kawali.
problem.
Okay,
Pardon?
you made mention of Kawali, that Islam, Sufi listen, Sufi music that they
Hmm.
used to,
Hmm.
yeah. So that Kawali is referred to as Islamic religious, I mean, songs or
Kawali.
music, I
Yes,
can
yeah,
say.
Kawali. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about
Yeah.
Holi? Holi, I mean, the color festivals refers to which kind of religious,
Hmm.
how can I say, sect? The Holi. Is it a general, I mean, festival in India, or there is a specific, I mean, religion that attend to this kind of
No, no,
festivals?
it is a general festival. All over India, Holi is celebrated. The form may be different, but the actual thing is it is a festival of colors, and the religious background behind it is your Krishna and Radha. It is the main purpose and is same. The manifestation may be different, but it is an all India festival. Holi is an all India festival. Like from 21st of October to 24th of October for 4 days. There will be it is called Dashera. Actually, some people they observe only 24th, but in Eastern India, one goddess is there whose name is Durga. It is called the worship of Durga. Durga Puja for 4 days, and the last day, how she killed the demon. It is celebrated as the Victory Day. Actually, the symbolic victory is symbolic. It is the victory of evil, victory of goodness over the evil. Here, no demon is there. Demon means the evilness, the evil spirit, and how the
Okay.
goodness ultimately will succeed over the bad spirit or the evil spirit. Yes, you are asking
Okay,
me the
ma'am.
questions. I am very happy. So that we can
Thank you.
interact. Otherwise, if I will take you deep into the technical
But
world,
ma'am,
naturally,
but ma'am, I
pardon?
don't know if I can
Yeah.
ask this. So regarding the dances and the songs, I mean, so is
Hmm.
there any are there any institutions that used to teach all this kind of dances and songs?
Ah, various institutions there are dance schools, your music schools. Mane, you like mushroom growth in big cities, in big urban centers. You will find out this. We have, you can, if you will take admission in dance or either in dance or in music, anyone you choose, you can have also, you can appear exam like you're in IGNU. That is, this is a postgraduate course in your music and in your dance. You can take admission from primary stage up to your postgraduate stage. You can have your certificates. There are universities where you in India from where you can obtain the certificates. You are now a postgraduate student on Indian dances of this branch. He is a postgraduate. Mr. X has completed post graduation on Indian Hindustani music. So there are lots of institutions are there. The students they get enrolled and accordingly they appear exam. And besides that, they have their stage performance also. It is a performing art, as you know. So because it is a performing art, they can make their stage performance also. So you
Okay,
must have
ma'am.
those
Thank you
type
very
of
much.
institutions in your country.
No, in my own country, I mean, in the northern part of the country, I mean, I don't think if there is
Achha.
anyone
Then
here
we
because
have 25 minutes. I could not follow. Please repeat. Please
no,
repeat.
ma'am, I don't know if any of my colleagues has something to say or has something to offer.
So I will be happy if any of your colleagues ask me any question. I will be happy with that. Any question? Basir, Nura, Ahmed, Sehu, Hamza. The names I found on the screen, I am just uttering their names. If anybody, if you'll ask me or interact with me, I will be happy because I have undergone some pain because I'm trying to be make you acquainted with our culture because you are thoroughly foreigner. You know nothing about our culture. So to what extent I have become able to give you some idea about Indian culture, I want to know.
Ma, I
No,
have a question.
then ask me.
Hello. Okay, Ma, you made mention of Kawali, Holi, and yesterday you made mention of Diwali. Ma, what is the difference
Hmm.
between these three? Kawali,
Holi,
Holi, and
Diwali,
Diwali.
and Holi, Diwali, third one,
Kawali.
Bhawali.
You made mention of Kawali, yes, and Holi, then Diwali.
Holi is there. Diwali is festival of light. Holi is festival of color. Diwali is a all India festival.
Okay, that I want to just know the differences between these three festivals.
Different. Actually, third one I could not follow what you are pronouncing. But Holi is the color festival which is being celebrated in the month of March, and Diwali will be in the mid-November. And the third one, Hawali, I couldn't follow what actually you want to mean that festival. Uh, something different pronunciation, but you are telling it Bhavali.
Okay, is it Vawali or Pawali, ma? You made mention of Pawali, the one that Bashir just asked and
Uh,
Kabir just asked. You say it's related to Muslim festival.
oh, art. This is an art. You are
Okay, it is an
talking of
art.
art already.
Okay,
You
okay, okay.
you tell me the spelling. You tell me.
The Pawali,
You can you write it.
F-A, F, okay, I should write it, ma.
Huh.
Okay, let me write it, ma.
Hmm. I am yet to find anything on the screen. Holi,
No, I have
Diwali,
sent it, ma.
Pawali. No, you are wrong. Pawali is not any festival, is not there. I think you have not heard it properly. Pawali is not there. Diwali is there. The third one is not there.
Okay,
Diwali
I
or
thought you mentioned
Diwali.
Pawali. Okay, just
Kawali.
the,
Kawali, I told you, it is typically an Islamic tradition and it has been assimilated with the Indian music. With the, Kawali, yes. Thik, Kawali. Kawali, as I told you, with the establishment or with the establishment of Muslim rule in India gradually, their tradition of music, they had also a very rich tradition of music. It influenced the Indians. So Qawwali, which was typically of Islamic origin, gradually became a part of Indian music. Now Qawwali has already become a part of this system. The food biryani, you are all accustomed to biryani food. So this is a typical Islamic dress, but now it has become a part of the Indian dish because it has so much being assimilated with our food habits that it is been assimilated in our food tradition. So Indian culture, again, you can draw one answer that Indian culture is assimilative in nature. So in ancient time, it has its Indian roots. But with the march of time, coming in contact with the Islamic culture, some of the traits they have been assimilated to our system. Their food habits, some of the food habits, some of the dress habits, this music habit, that Qawwali, it has become a part of the Indian system. Yes, we do it. We like it also. The ghazal, Thungri, they are also the part of the Indian system. I liked it. Mr. Ahmad, you asked me, at least you interacted with me. I became very happy.
So,
Then,
ma'am,
okay,
you
ma.
just mentioned of biryani, that kind of food.
pardon?
Yeah, biryani. That's food that you made mention now. Biryani.
Huh.
So there was a time that I visited one Indian hotel, an Indian restaurant. I mean, so I
Okay.
have seen that in the menu. I have seen there is chicken biryani in the menu of
So now it
the
has
restaurant.
become Indian food.
Yes,
But
in
actually,
Nigeria,
the origin,
some restaurant. There's some restaurant here over in Nigeria. They used to offer that kind of food, Indian chicken biryani. I mean, chicken biryani. Yeah.
acha. But actually, this biryani is a typical Islamic dish. But when the Muslims they now came to India, gradually their food habits, it influenced there is one separate topic, influence of Islam on Indian culture. How Islam has influenced the Indian culture, this is one of the glaring examples that biryani has now been assimilated. Similarly, the Muslims also accepted some Indian foods, pulao, that sweet rice. So this is typical a Hindu dish. They like it also. So Indian culture is very important in that regard for its synthesis, assimilative capacity, assimilative nature. The Indian dishes have been accepted. Then we find out the Muslim dishes has been accepted by the Hindus. The Hindus have accepted there. So the intermixing of really your cultural habits. As I told you, the painting tradition, the Mughals who ruled India, they were very men of sophisticated culture. They were having very interest for garden culture. So different types of gardens, Bagh, what they call as Salimar Bagh, Mughal garden. So these type of, and when you are making a garden, it is a typical technical laws to be followed, how it will be thoroughly rectangular in shape with four divisions. In the middle, there will be the pedestal to enjoy the beauty, etc., etc. So that garden culture, then equally important is the painting culture because they had love for nature. So naturally, the beauties of nature, the natural objects, the natural manifestations, they now entered into painting tradition. So Mughal painting is very rich painting, water painting, canvas painting, oil painting, fresco painting, and all those are preserved in various museums of India. If you like to see the paintings, Mughal paintings, you can get a very good idea from different museums of India. So again, I will tell those who are listening to me, make it a point. So whenever you will get a time, you will visit India, and the things what I have mentioned in course of my lecture, you will try to remember me and try to visit those things, those fairs, those places, remember those customs. Naturally, you will enjoy your trip. If the tourist is acquainted with the culture of that particular region, he enjoys the trip. Tourism is for entertainment purpose. You want
Yes,
to entertain yourself.
we can also visit Bhubaneswar to a location map.
You want to visit Bhubaneswar. Ach.
Yes,
It is
yes,
in
ma'am.
the eastern. It is in the eastern part. You go through the India map, and on the eastern part of India, you will find out the state is called. The name of the state is Odisha. Odisha, it is in between the state of Andhra and Bengal. The
Yes,
capital of
ma'am.
the state is,
It is a popular name, Orissa. Yes, because some names used
huh,
to be used during
it is
some
a
Bollywood
popular name.
films.
Its capital is Bhubaneswar. The capital of
Yes.
the state is Bhubaneswar. The name of the
Okay,
state is
okay.
Odisha, and
You know
it has got,
the popular names in India are like Mumbai, Delhi, Rajasthan,
they are all big cities.
Odisha.
We call it metro cities.
Yes.
We have a four,
Yes.
you see, we have a four metros in four direction. Mumbai, the metro is in west. Delhi, the capital metro in the north. Kolkata, the metro plus the capital of Bengal in east, and Chennai, a metro and a capital of Tamil Nadu, state of Tamil Nadu in south. So we have four metros in four parts of India, but they are definitely more advanced. But besides these four metros, you will find out other cities also. Your Bengaluru in south, it is the Silicon Valley of India. So much of development in computer, etc., that is computer capital of India. That is computer capital, this is software, etc., Bengaluru. So Odisha, you will find out, oh, you will visit the place, I believe you will be remembering you. Thank you that you are listening to me, and to some extent I
You
have
know,
become able to give you some
you
idea
know, ma'am,
because I know.
for the sake
Tell
of
me.
this program, we learn a lot about India, and we learn about
You
Mumbai a
give
lot
me
as
in
well.
writing, it will be easier for me to follow.
Okay, ma'am.
So you see, a class for 2 hours duration. I am a teacher. I know 1.5 hours is enough. Then if I will go on lecturing and lecturing, but you will not receive, because the brain loses the capacity of receiving. That's why, for the sake of this program, we learned a lot about India. Thank you. For sake of, you have taken admission to this program to know something about India. So these are the things, at least in future, when you will come to India, these things will help you. These things will definitely help you. Now, you see, I don't want, we have 20 minutes more. We have 20 minutes more for the completion of this class. So the tomorrow's class will be on, I will surely visit you in person. Acha, thank you. The tomorrow's class will be on popular culture. Today in the net you see Jawan, because we will talk on Indian cinema, Indian theater, and the most important Indian cinema, which has already created records after records, is the film Jawan, the cinema Jawan, by Jawan means soldier, by Shah Rukh Khan. So after the class, you search in the net. So how cinema, they are all popular culture. The people of India, they are now made after that cinema, that Jawan. So they are also a part of our culture. Our theatrical theaters and these cinemas, and you see, cinema and theater become meaningless unless and until you do have some ideas on your dance, music, etc. So in knowledge on Indian dance and music is must. But in the modern cinema, you will come across with a disco dance, that rope dance, the trendy dance, different dances. But as you know, that then you will forget. But the classical dances, they are of a lasting impact. The lasting impact, whatever may be the dance or the music, you must have heard the name of Lata Mangeshkar, whom we call the Nightingale of India. She has died, but her music, the melodious tone, and a few of her songs are so impressive and they have their lasting impression. So you on the net, listen to Lata Mangeshkar's Mere Watan Ki Logon. So that is a very important melodious music. Her tone is so soft and so attractive, so excellent. You will like it. Anyhow, so my point is this, that whenever you are coming, or even if you do not come, kindly go through the net, Ajanta, Ellora, what I told specifically for painting, Bagh, Mahabalipuram. Ajanta Ellora is world famous. There we'll find out one rock. A rock has been carved in such a way it has become a temple. It is called the rock cut temple. It is called rock cut temple, the temple of Shiva, Kailasnath temple near your Ellora. Famous Kaila, that is called rock cut temple. Entire, it is not created. The rock is being cut in such a way that it has become a temple. You just think of the artistic genius of the architect. The architect who now had that idea of cutting a temple into rock form, it speaks of his artistic genius. Till today, it serves as a temple of attraction for the tourists all over the world, and that is a World Heritage Site. Kailasnath temple near the Ellora cave, where there are raw paintings, ancient paintings, that is a heritage site. So, especially the painting areas are the object places of tourist destination, and dances and music, they are objects of tourist attraction. So the places will attract you, observe, you will see there, you will look there, but the Indian dance and music will attract you for their inherent charmingness. That is the point. Anything you may ask, another 15 minutes more. So you will interact for 10 minutes more, then I will drop this class. Kathak, Odissi, Manipuri, and more we learn. Yes, these are the classical dances. Kathakali, Mohiniyattam, Kuchipudi. These are the dances. So if at all they are the in separate dance troupe, the Bharatanatyam dance troupe. So they are visiting all over the world. If you get a chance, you see that yes, Madam had taught us about Bharatanatyam dance of India. What does the dance mean? What is the background? You will see and you can get an idea. So the dance troops belonging to various groups of dances of Indian system, they are now moving all over the world, and wherever they are getting invitation, they are showing their performances, and people like it to see and also to listen to the music attached to that dances. So these are something unique which you do not find out in other dances. The classical dances of India, because they are of remote origin, they have some uniqueness with them. Because they have some uniqueness with them, they do accordingly attract it. You must see it. If not in the stage, on the stage, then you try to see it on the your mobile screen. You can see it also. Then anything you ask me, Hamza, Mr. Hamza. I found out the name on the screen, Nura, Sehu. I think only 5 to 6 students are here. Only Kabiru is the regular and interacting student who is interacting with me regularly. I like it. Ahmad, Hamza Ahmad, yes ma'am. Ask me something or interact with me. I will be happy. Any question on the screen? Yes, thank you for the recognition. So, then what is to be done for coming 15 minutes? I have been allotted by the time up to 5 o'clock. Now it is 4:47. So another 13 minutes more. So you see, again I want to give you some references related to art and architecture, the history. So whenever you are going to have this, because your another block 6 is archaeology and antiquity. Again, we shall go back to history. So to some extent, no question from my side. I am only enjoying the presentation. Nice of you. Very nice of you that you are enjoying my presentation. I am also liking your presence, but interaction will be much more fascinating. So if you will interact, at least I can speak something more which you want to know. Otherwise, I am not in a position to know your areas of interest. Which area do you like to have more interest, like biryani? Kabiru, Mr. Kabiru asked me about biryani. I think he is fond of biryani. Anyhow, so we must interact so that I must know the which areas you want more of description or more of analysis. Anyhow, so when we are discussing about this Indian cultural heritage, etc., so the history is must. So kindly, in brief, in outlines, you must know the history, and then these fairs and festivals. You try to make a list of different types of Indian fairs and festivals. Some are seasonal festivals, some are religious festivals, some are regional, some are seasonal as per the season. Harvesting festival, then you'll find out the seasonal spring festival, etc. You make a list. Then different types of customs. Ma'am, what is the difference between the role of cinema and journalism? That is for tomorrow's class. I shall discuss, you ask me tomorrow, because I have not discussed about cinema. Cinema, theatre, that is for block 4. We shall discuss it on 10th. My next class is on 10th. So I will, is Khajuraho festival that worth of it? You see, Khajuraho festival, there is a Khajuraho temple. Khajuraho is an archaeological site and they also a religious site. You will find out very much temples. Khajuraho is situated in central India. The name of the state is Madhya Pradesh. Madhya means middle province. So in central India, and Khajuraho is a place of artistic importance, and now to attract more and more tourists, the Khajuraho festivals are being organized there. There you will find out typical classical Indian dance and music, the light and sound program of the city of Khajuraho, the Mahakaleshwar temple. It is a tourist spot. You must visit it. India is full of, it's a very big country. Because India is a very big country, so naturally you will find out in different parts. In my state, Orissa, Konark festival is going on, beach festival, Puri sea beach. Puri is a place for Lord Jagannath. So on the sea beach, there is beach festival. There is a temple called Rajarani temple. In the name of the temple, Rajarani festival. So different festivals are organized on Odissi dance. The dance of this state of Odisha is Odissi dance. Or music is also Odissi music. That is unique of this state. So you will find out the Odissi dance festival, Odissi music festival. In South, you will find out the South Indian dance and music. So different regions of the country have their own regional features, regional attractions, regional characteristics. So you can enjoy all those things in when you will visit it as a tourist. I have a great interest at least to visit South Africa, where Gandhi had made his Tolstoy farm and where he spent his first 15 years of life. First matlab, he went to South Africa, I think around 1899, and he left in, came to India by 1914. So that year, that Tolstoy farm, the policy of your apartheid, how he became a victim to the policy of apartheid, and that gave him the spirit to start this struggle for independence. It had already started, but he became the hero of freedom struggle from 1919 till the achievement of Indian independence in 1947. So the background was his South African stay and how his experience as a victim and as a being a black man, the policy of victim, because he was not an European under the British rule, and the same technique of non-violence, the technique of pacifism, truth and non-violence, he picked up there and he followed it in India and he became successful. He is the father of the nation, the father of the in Indian currency, in Indian rupees note. You will find out his head. So father of the nation spent his life. So I have a desire to see that country. But as you know, God knows what is there, if I will become able to visit it or not. But you, the fellows who have enrolled here, I would be like to have dalma and pakhala. How could you get this name? That is typical dishes of Odisha state. Pakhal means watered rice. And dalma, in the dal, in the pulses when you are making, adding different types of vegetables. So these typical two dishes, what you mentioned, You will be happy to see not only South Africa but also other things. So this pakhal and dalma is typical of Orissa dish. So when you will have this, this is the identification mark of Odisha state. I told you your food habit, your dress. When I will come to the handicraft and Orissa dress, and when the Odissi performer performs the Odissi dance, she wears the attire made of Orisha, the Sambalpuri saris. This is called sari, what I have worn. This is our national dress. This is our national dress and my identification mark. If you will see a lady wearing a sari, you will be sure that she will be from India. And if that sari is of typical of Sambalpuri, typical design is there, that means this lady is from Odisha. So our food habits, our dress habits, they also work as our identification marks. They work as our identification marks. So that Pokhala and Dalma, that typical Orissa dish. So it is our identification mark. You have got that name, that made me happy. That yes, you have got that name. So you see, if you are interacting with me, you are also feeling elated, happy. I am also becoming happy to give you more and more information. So interaction is always uncommon. You have multiple of traditional differences. Yes. Unity in diversity. Indian culture is diverse in character. Indian culture, the very first thing you must remember, Indian culture is diverse in character. Two lines you will remember. First line will be Indian culture in diverse in character. Second line is amongst these diverse elements, there is the flow of fundamental unity. So Indian culture is unity in diversity. So, three words. Unity in diversity, that is the fundamental characteristic of Indian culture. So, it is in course of my lecture, you will show various diverse elements, a rich culture, an antique culture, a diverse culture, but among all these things, there is the flow of fundamental unity. As I told you, Qawwali is performed by all the Indians. Holi, Diwali, they are celebrated irrespective of all the religions, Hindus, the Christians, Muslims, they all light lamps because it is the festival of light. Setting aside the religious aspect, the ceremonial aspect we must be celebrated. So you will see the Muslims, they also light their houses. In the festival of light, the Christians, the Buddhists, they also use color on everybody's faces, that is called abir. So our culture presents a very diverse picture. Among this diverse picture, there is, you will find out how there is the flow of fundamental unity. My dear listener who are listening to me, I am very happy that you are listening to me. You are interacting with me. At least few more came forward to interact with me. And in the coming class, I want more of interaction. I want more of interaction, so I will be inspired to give you more and more ideas, more and more knowledge about Indian culture, which will help you in writing on your answer script. You want a certificate because you have enrolled on this course, you want a certificate. So at least being outsider, your interaction with me will enlarge your intellectual. No problem, ma'am. You can surely, we can. Bas, thank you. So time is fast approaching. So let me conclude with this for today's class. And I think the next class will be on 10th. Will be on 10th. I will be out of station. And anyhow, we will meet on 10th and we have our discussion on the block 4. And the block 4 is on popular culture. Mr. Hamza, you had asked me the question on Indian cinema, journalism, and tourism. I have remembered that, but do not know whether I will be able to remember it on 10th. But please make me remember your question, and we will discuss on this question. A very good question you have asked me, and we will discuss because the topic will be on Indian cinema, Indian theatre. So, if possible, during these days, on the net, you try to at least you see that Jawan picture. It is creating history. So, just at present, so Indian cinema and Indian theatre, you will get an idea that is another important aspect of Indian culture. So, thank you all for giving me a very patient and interactive hearing. Again, a warm afternoon, good afternoon to you all. Now, this much for this class. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you. God bless you all. Allah bless you all.
Amin.
Amin. Thank you,
Amin.
Ma.
Thank
God
you.
bless you too.
Amin.
Yeah, thank you.